Hello everyone, I'm coming to you today to talk about something near and dear to my heart, Star Wars. Now, I've been a fan since I was very young. I was born in 1982, a year before Return of the Jedi, and as far as I can remember, Star Wars has always been part of my life. People in my family, my cousins, got me into it, and I used to own the original trilogy on VHS, and I watched it all the time when I was a kid. And then when the 95 editions came out, I bought those and I watched them till I broke the Empire Strikes Back tape, and I had to buy another one. Then the special editions, I got to see those in theater, and then of course the prequels. And I've never been overly disappointed in the direction of Star Wars. I liked the special editions. I mostly enjoyed the prequels. I understand there's flaws and problems with them, like everyone does. And then we come to the Disney era, the modern Star Wars era. And there's plenty of documentation online about this. You've got people like Geeks and Gamers, world-class bullshitters, Diversity in Comics, Comic Artist Pro Secrets, all talking about this, all discussing this, huge communities around it, and I just wanted to throw my hat into the game, so to speak. I don't know, I was trying to think of what I could add to this conversation that I hadn't really heard anyone really talking about. Yes, we all know that The Last Jedi is a steaming pile of garbage, and there's not really much more to say about it. You can't fix the movie, although some people are trying. So what do we do from here? Well, since the movies are kind of going to trash, I watched The Force Awakens and I kind of enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Rogue One, except for like the first half of it, but the ending was amazing. And then you come to The Last Jedi, and I've never walked out of a movie so disappointed in my entire life. So disappointed that I decided to skip Solo, and I'll probably skip Episode 9, which is crazy to me because I never thought I'd be in a position where I'd be skipping a Star Wars movie. But there's one part of the grand Star Wars, mythos, if you will, ever since Disney rebooted the EU, the extra canon, or whatever you want to call it. I've been buying the comic books since Marvel took over publishing. And for the most part, I've really enjoyed the comics. So I decided it'd be really nice to go back. The main Star Wars line, which I have sitting here, is about to reach its 50th issue, which is a pretty big milestone in a comic book. So I'd like to go back and sort of like pick through them and tell you what I think about them. And hopefully you can gain a better understanding about, what's going on in there and how the comics aren't nearly as bad as what's going on in the movies. They are actually, for the most part, pretty good. There's some real big misses here and there, and some of the characters are a little wonky, and I'll get into that during my reviews. So I think I'll start today just by going over issue 1. This is issue 1 of the new Star Wars line. This is the main cast. It has the original trilogy characters in it, which is great. As you can see, they start with the classic a long time ago, and then you got your big Star Wars, just like you see on the screen, and then your title crawl. This one's called Skywalker Strikes, Book 1. And this is kind of neat because they do their title crawl, and then this was a really cool little intro. You get your ship coming through space, down the planet, just like the movie. So I was really, really happy with this first issue. The story's not too bad. It's just about Luke going off, finding Jedi relics and stuff like that. You got Han Solo in the first issue, along with that. You get some bounty hunter references with like 4 Lom here, and there's some cool stuff. They bring in some, they've got their Return of the Jedi sort of uniforms for some of the guards. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's weird, and this is a common theme in the main Star Wars line. There's this weird artwork. It's almost like they take movie frames and they sort of trace it. It's really strange. It's kind of off-putting at times. Like, look at this. I don't know what to say about this. This is weird. But anyway, this is kind of a cool thing. It's just Luke, and he rescues some prisoners on a prison planet. Get some really cool action shots. There's good action in these books, which is nice. It's nice to see a story based on Star Wars with actions. You got your appearance of Darth Vader in the first issue, which is good. They need to keep Darth Vader as the villain, and it's cool to see that he had some interactions with Luke and the crew. In between A New Hope and Empire. And I should mention these do happen in between A New Hope and Empire. So A New Hope's already happened, and this is after that, in between, which is a good time period because you've got like 3 years where you can just explore different weird little stories, and that's kind of what they do, and it's good that way. You get some really cool action shots with Vader. I kind of like this artwork in this first issue. It's been a while since I looked at it. And it's not quite as weirdly traced as some of the later issues. Really cool action sequences, though. And this is what Star Wars is missing in the movies. Like, Last Jedi was so dull. It was just weird. Like, it was the least action-packed Star Wars movie, and it was just like 2.5 hours of ridiculousness. And look at this last shot. Like, that's freaking cool. Luke facing down Vader. That's the kind of stuff we want to see. It would have been really nice to have a nice, long lightsaber fight in The Last Jedi. Like the one we got in Empire. That was like a half an hour long lightsaber fight in Empire Strikes Back. We don't even get fights like that in movies anymore. I mean, it's so weird. And in the back of this book, they're previewing some of the other first books, which I'll get to later on, like Princess Leia and Darth Vader. Darth Vader was really weird. Princess Leia was really weird. Darth Vader was excellent, and it's kind of weird because since that point they've got 2 Darth Vader lines. They've got, this same era, and then they've got like post-prequel era Darth Vader running now. It's a little strange, but anyway, overall, this comic was great. This was a really good introduction to Marvel Star Wars. And a really good way to start that run. Now, as I go along, there's going to be some weird things happening. You're going to see where they've gone down a little bit since then. And it's going to get interesting. So I decided I'll do these by runs. So the Skywalker Strikes, Book 1, I'll review that entire run in the next video. And we'll just go from there.